Okay, so you ever see people when they try to sing and they do this thing, they go and they look all crazy? What the hell does that actually do? What's up, YouTube family? It's your boy Harry J. I'm a singer-songwriter, recording artist, vocal coach, and I'm gonna make you a better singer right the fuck now. So lip rolls, right? What the hell are they? We always see singers, but whenever I demonstrate that exercise for my clients or for people on the internet, like yourselves, people kind of want to know, like, what's the point? What does this actually do? So let's break it down. There are three principal advantages to lip rolls, and they present themselves in the forms of airflow, vocal control, and resonance. So just like the lip rolls, those terms get thrown around in singing culture a lot. So I'm gonna break down a little bit of what those terms actually mean and also how the lip rolls specifically sort of cater to those three things. So number one, air control. We hear the term breath support a lot, right? A lot of vocal coaches on the internet, a lot of singers, they say, oh, I just support my voice. You know, I said breath support, oh, that was really weird. Sorry, that was a weird example. But I think what gets lost in the translation isn't breath support necessarily. We don't wanna be talking about jamming our stomach full of air and pushing it up. We want to let the air flow from down here all the way up through our face. So there will be a more comprehensive video on this channel about breathing properly as a singer. But let's just think for now that we breathe and the breath drops down into our stomach. Somewhere sort of right here. And our ribs come out a little bit, our back expands, the whole thing sort of expands. Once that air is nice and low down here, we want to let it flow up towards our face and kind of out this way. We don't want to push it up and we don't want to stop it too much from sort of getting up out there. So what the lip rolls do is they create what's called a semi-occlusion. So a semi-occlusion essentially means all the air that comes up through our body and passes through our vocal tract and gets up here into our face and our mouth can't all escape. There's a scientific term we use called inertance to describe this phenomenon. Basically, semi-occluded exercises keep all of the air from escaping out of here. That air that can't escape out of our mouths sort of pushes back down on our vocal tract and it keeps everything nice and open, and it sort of creates this very flowy, sort of consistent air movement up and down. So let's think, for example, we see people sing sometimes, and they push their voice out like a ton, right? That's sort of too much compression as our air flows up. That's too much stop and go of the air. We want that nice, consistent flow. That's the same as people who sing and they sort of like let the air just sort of, they just sort of push a lot of air and they get that breathy sound. That's actually doing too much work on our vocal folds as well. So this lip roll, if you can pass through your whole range, that's allowing us to have a consistent, steady airflow throughout the entirety of our vocal range. And that translates to a sound like this, as we pass up through our range. So I think of someone like Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. I chimed in with the haven't you people ever heard of? I'm kind of feeling that air just flow through the entire time. I'm not, I chimed in with the haven't you people. It's not stop and go, stop and go. Now where you get it wrong is if you start pushing these lip trills, you start blasting them, or you go too soft, you go, and it doesn't even come out. We want a consistent, buzzy, but light lip trill. So here's an exercise for all three of these pillars that'll really help. Just take 1, 3, 5, 8, 5, 3, 1, scale just like this. I'm passing up into head voice. I'm sort of letting that air just flow through. It's taking the voice and handing it off to my head voice instead of jamming it up and having a big flip. So we don't want like that. Kind of just letting it hand off. So number two, vocal control. Similar ideology behind this, right? If all the air just flows out of our mouth, it's really, really difficult for us to control the notes that we're singing. So let's take a scale, for example. We'll do a C major scale. If my airflow and my resonance and everything is just completely all over the place, it's gonna sound something like this. That's obviously super exaggerated, but it's not consistent. There's no consistency in the notes, the tone, anything. So what the feeling of the lip roll does is it allows us to feel the sound all in one place. This pillar sort of ties into the breath control and the next one, which is resonance, but it allows us to feel the sound here and not need us to move anything to make a different pitch. So let's take that same scale with a very light lip roll. don't really need to worry about vowel shapes. We don't really need to worry about this openness of our mouth, openness of our soft palate. Everything's just kind of right here, nice and relaxed, right? If you can take a scale up on that lip trill and then walk it back down in that same sort of placement of the lip trill and that same sort of feeling, the ease that the lip trill gives you, that's gonna teach you some really, really good vocal control and really good vocal quality. So that exercise I just did, that's a great one. Take any scale, walk it up with a light lip trill, walk it back down with a light ah, but a very light ah. Again, notice it's not just pushing out. Let it just sort of waft out of you. Now, number 3, forward resonance. So like I said, this one's kind of similar to the last 2 things we discussed. They all go hand in hand. But forward resonance, that's that bright, twangy, pingy sound that we hear people sing with, right? The lip roll is a really good way for us to find that. It brings that air sort of forward right in what I call the triangle of resonance. So for some lower tones, you can resonate sort of here. For the higher tones, as we get up toward head voice, resonate more here. So it's always forward, but it's sort of just moving up into that triangle. So let's take that same scale we did in the first module. And let's take that up as high as you go. What you might notice is that there might be a tendency to push the air forward, but if we just sort of let it flow the way that air is supposed to feel, we'll actually feel the notes sort of slightly twist up forward towards your nose and even towards your eyes. Sort of feel that coming out here. Because that air can't escape out and cause us to overcompress and tighten our jaw, tighten our tongue, tighten our whole throat area here, we're not able to sort of lose the natural resonance feeling. We're actually able to feel where that sound is supposed to naturally resonate. So lip trills are really, really good to find the middle voice, that coveted sort of mixed voice in between the chest, ah, and between the head, that spot right there. Something that'll really help with this is lip trill sirens. Try to take the chest voice up to the head voice and back down in that lip trill, very relaxed, without a flip. That's too much. That's gonna start to slowly build the proper muscle coordination and sort of that muscle memory of singing with a little zing in your voice. Yeah, right there. That allows us to project our voice nice and big, loud, without having to push at all. Guys, use these daily. I use lip rolls every single day. First thing I do when I get up, I take a shower, and in the shower, as always, guys, if this helps, leave a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell, leave a comment, do all the things the algorithm likes, because I want to keep teaching y'all how to sing.